Hello guys, in this video I'm going to teach you my 3 ways of learning. So the first two are really simple and the third one is a bit more complicated. That's why I'm on the computer screen and I will teach you how. So the first one is by reading books. Books are very effective for learning, of course. Some people think they're not effective because it takes a long time to read a book, but because you read the book yourself, you get a lot of information from it, important rules of life, and you have to read the right books. But later on, I will make a video about which books of self-improvement I liked and which I didn't. The next thing for learning is of course watching YouTube videos like Hamza's and mine and other self-improvement YouTubers who can teach you their mistakes and what they think is important. And you can also watch like Iman Kazi, stuff like that on money making. There's several YouTubers where you can have hours of content to watch and learn. But the third thing is learning yourself. The way you learn in school is by opening your book, you fill in the notes or the exercises, and then you come home and you learn these exercises. Well, for self-improvement, you can kind of do the same, but what we do is just we uh, we learn from a smart man. Like for example, you've been seeing Andrew Huberman here for the last 2 minutes. That's because I learned from Andrew Huberman by watching his podcasts. To be more effective, this is a quite short podcast, but you have also podcasts that's like for 4 hours or something like that. We have a really useful tool. So now I'm going to teach you how to learn yourself. So I mostly watch Andrew Huberman podcasts because they're very nice organized, and I think they're very useful because he's a good scientist. But so the first thing I do is I look for a podcast that I want to learn about. So for example, sleep and sleep optimization. The thing I do is he's a scientist, so he makes a lot of in his 1 hour and 40-minute podcast. He talks about sponsors and he teaches you the way of his science behind all that stuff. But I don't really care about that. I just want to know what do I have to do to become to do these things. So he will have some tools for me to optimize my sleep. I don't need all the science and all the sponsorships and the products. I don't care about these. I just want the sleep optimization tools. So that's why I like Andrew Huberman, because here in his description he writes out an entire timestamps thing. This is a tool sleep kit, so it means it has a lot of actionable steps that you can take, but most of his podcasts only have like 4 or 5 different rules. But right here, I go, for example, okay, this is just the intro, so you skip this. Then I don't see tools, timing caffeine, for example, or no, morning tools here. So I go here, okay, I see, from here on, I can see tools.
From the makers of Lucid Chart.
So close to a breakthrough, I can feel it!
Special offer. Okay, so now
Okay, now the tools are going to start. So I'm just gonna watch the video and see what happens. I'll speed it up a little because else it will take.
we're still focusing on this early part of the day when you've woken up, like the first hour or so after waking. And we can go to our list of other levers and tools, right? We have light and dark. We already talked about light and sunlight in particular. We've got temperature, food, exercise, caffeine, supplements, and digital tools. Now, once you've woken up and you want to be awake, okay, so this is likely to be early in the day if you're following a more standard schedule, you will also want to leverage not just light, but temperature as a tool. If you are inclined, it would be wise to try and increase your core body temperature a bit more quickly than it would otherwise if you were to just, shuffle around outside, get your sunlight, maybe read a little bit, etc. And there are two main ways you can do that. The first way is to get into cold water of some sort. So this could be a cold shower of anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. This could be an ice bath if that's your thing. It could be a cold tub, or if you own a cold tub that's specifically designed for deliberate cold exposure, get under some cold water. That will certainly wake you up. And if you ever jumped into cold water or had a cold shower, you know it really wakes you up because you release adrenaline, epinephrine from both your brain and body. the body from your adrenals and your brain from little cluster of neurons called locus ceruleus. Again, the names don't matter. 1 to 3 minutes of cold water exposure will wake you up because of that adrenaline release, and I want to highlight the and, it will serve to increase your core body temperature. That's right. Your body and brain interact as a bit of a thermostat system where if you put something cold on the surface of your body, your brain, a little cluster of neurons, in this paradoxical, people think, oh, if you get into cold water or an ice bath, your body to get out of that cold water, your dopamine, which is a molecule involved in motivation, focus, etc. So this is great for waking up. So we've got sunlight, we've got temperature triggered by cold water, and we have exercise. One of the best ways to increase your core body temperature early in the day is to do exercise. Now, some of you might choose to do your full-blown workout for the day first thing when you wake up in the morning. I would say the best time to exercise, at least what the research points to, is immediately when you wake up in the morning, or 3 hours after waking, or...
Okay, now I've watched this for 2 minutes. I have already watched this podcast, so I know when the right things come. I accidentally already skipped the sunlight thingy, but for example, this will be a useful part, and maybe it starts a little earlier for the thing. So I have 4 minutes. Right now, took 35 minutes, and on 4 minutes I've got all the useful information. So what I do now is I just copy this title. I go to a Notions tab. I use it on my phone, so this is just for the video, but that doesn't really matter. You have this podcast here, you know which it is, and now you can go and put the important things here. So for example, he didn't say that in the clip I showed, but he said it before. Get 5 minutes of sunlight when you wake up. Next, he said cold exposure. And then he also said exercise. Heat up your body. And this is the first thing. How to wake up. So here I said now I made wait, I should do this link. Okay, so now I have my podcast. I have the wake up time. Later in this podcast, he will talk about what you do during the day and at night. So then I'll do here like during day, and then I'll do like this. Put up a few points. Then at night, and I put a few points like that. And then when you wake up, to get fast asleep again. And I'll put a few points. Look, like this, and I just save this. I do this on my phone because I have my phone more with me than my PC. So now I have an entire 1 hour and 40 minutes podcast compressed into this Notion tab. And whenever I'm looking for some sleep optimization things, I can just look back to this. I can share it with friends so they have it as well. And it's really nice because you get the most important things. When you're at school for an exam, you make this as well for your tests, or maybe for like history or something. You get the entire thing on a few papers so that you know how to do it. Well, it's pretty easy to do it with this as well, and it works wonderful because you can always look back at it. Let's say, for example, now we go to another thing. Okay, tools, temperature. No, that's not an important one. Let's say, for example, here.
This week I got paid $12,000.
Oh, why am I getting
Last
so
week,
many
I earned
ads? Sorry.
$14,000. And
I want to touch on some tools that are very commonly used by many people out there. And believe it or not, there is peer-reviewed science on things like eye masks. Do eye masks improve your ability to stay asleep? And indeed, they do, provided they are not too tight and provided that the room is cool enough. Why? Well, eye masks cover the upper half of your face, which is where glabrous skin is localized. Remember, palms of the hands, bottoms of the feet, glabrous skin on the face. So a lot of people who wear eye masks will wake up because they're too warm if the room is too warm. So if you're going to use an eye mask to keep light out, definitely make sure the room and your sleep environment and your bed are cool enough in order for you to stay asleep. In addition, I get a lot of questions about earplugs. Here's the deal with earplugs. Some people find that earplugs are very beneficial because, of course, they prevent the entrance of sound into the ear that could wake us up. But some people find that the sound of their own beating of their own heart can be disruptive, and they get a sort of humming in their head when they have those earplugs in. I'm one such person, although I have family.
Okay, I've only watched a minute, and now I know at night I should wear earplugs if they don't bother me. I should make my room colder. Make my room colder. So when you want to wake up, it's clearly you want to heat up your body by exercising, by eating, by getting sunlight. Cold exposure looks like it makes you colder, but once you get out of the water, you'll get warmer. So that's why. In the evening, I have watched this, so I know you can also take saunas, but saunas. And what was the other thing? A sleep mask. Sleep mask. So now whenever I feel like, I can't sleep at night, I just look at this, I know, oh, these are some quick things I can try, and maybe they help. So this is what I do for every podcast, and then I have just one very big Notion tab where I put every podcast, and then I put the name of the podcast. For me, it's just sleep, for example. Like I just do sleep, and then I get some important tips
Members
like
who like
this.
using earplugs.
Oh, sorry. I get the important tips, and then maybe here I'll get a new podcast about fitness, going to the gym, and then I'll just start here writing all the stuff, like for example, bulk cut. I don't know. I haven't watched a fitness podcast about Andrew Huberman. I'm going to do that though, but that doesn't really matter for this one. But just like that, and then I can scroll through it and just see all the info I need. So I hope you learned something, and now you can learn effective as well. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye.